You guys wanted more, so today I'll be drawing Sprunki OCs as humans, Sprunki Retake Edition. This mod has some crazy OCs and gives me nightmares, so let's dive in. First up is Mroona and Wyrum. Wyrum? I don't know how to say it, I'm sorry. Two Sprunkis this time. Mroona is a maroon colored Sprunki with two large spikes on top of her head and two smaller ones at the bottom. Many have assumed these spikes can be cat ears, but that's never been confirmed. She's also visibly bigger than other Sprunki body types. Wyrum is Mroona's partner, a tall, light beige, almost white colored Sprunki with gray stripes on his torso. They have a mouth, but no eyes. Their appearance could very well be a reference to a worm, and also their name kinda sounds like one, as when played, they both sing together very happily. However, in horror mode, they aren't a very happy couple. Instead of seeing them together, we now just see Mroona, with her eyes nearly rolled into the back of her head with a very lifeless expression. We can also see very weird and unnatural looking bumps on her stomach, with stitches going up. No guys, she is not pregnant. Stop saying that. And it's been revealed by the creator that Black actually cut her open and stuffed Wyrum's body inside Mroona and stitched it back up. That is brutal, and it only gets worse when we hear the sound. Mroona's voice is now very deep and distorted, and in the audio, we hear a very grotesque and wet sound, which could very well be Wyrum's body shifting around inside. This has easily gotta be one of the most messed up things I've seen from any Sprunki character, and that's saying something. The creator is very creative, to say the least. Apparently, the reason her eyes are rolled back is because Wyrum's head is actually stuffed inside hers, pressing on her brain, which explains why we can't see a bump the shape of his head anywhere. And while we can't directly see him in horror mode, I did find his image of Wyrum on the wiki, where they have no face and are covered in ketchup, which indicates Wyrum was probably killed before being put inside Mroona. Aside from the scary mode, this is the first time I've seen two Sprunkis paired together like this and sing together. I think it's so adorable. Besides that. So of course, I drew them together as humans. For Mroona's hairstyle, I turned the spikes on her head into cute pointy pigtails, and she's wearing a cute oversized hoodie. Because Wyrum has no eyes, his hair is covering them, and it's kinda giving me number 4 vibes. Of course, he's very tall, and wearing a striped shirt with arm warmers and striped pants. Making the horror version traumatized me, and I never want to make something as scary as this ever again. Here is human Mroona and Wyrum. Next up is Bailey. Bailey appears as a light yellow Sprunki with large fish fins on the side of his head, as well as an esca on his head, very similar to an anglerfish, except he's cute and not terrifying. Despite being a fish-like creature, Bailey is unable to swim, which explains the ducky flow, so I guess he's a land fish? He's wearing yellow goggles with a very happy facial expression. I don't know what this sound is called, but it does remind me of the ocean. Meanwhile, his horror version is disturbing to say the least. Bailey's goggles are now filled with water and has bloodshot eyes. And his duck floaty appears to be popped, with his stomach looking extremely bloated. His face is completely lifeless, with water leaking from his mouth. It's been confirmed Bailey was drowned by Black, so that gurgling sound we hear is literally from his final moments. That's messed up. Due to struggling and inhaling water while drowning, Bailey's stomach and lungs were filled with water, and Black popped his float to make sure he wouldn't survive, since Bailey can't swim. Man, I feel so bad for Bailey. He just wanted to have a nice day at the beach. So now let's move on to his human form. Since Bailey is described to love the ocean and be a very happy guy, I was sure to make his human outfit ocean themed. He's wearing goggles with those yellow fins, as well as a life jacket. I know he already has a float, but extra safety is always good, even though Black would also pop his life jacket. Below that, I gave Bailey a pair of swim shorts with some fun wave patterns. For extra support, he's also wearing some scuba diving shoes to help him stay afloat, and they also match his ears. Always spending time in ocean, he's gotta be a little wet, so there's some water dripping from his hair. Also, apparently Bailey loves SpongeBob, which makes so much sense, and I love that. And also eats sand. How come so many Sprunkis eat things they're not supposed to? Drawing his horror version made me sad. He didn't deserve this. Anyways, here is human Bailey. Now let's draw Aurelia. She's a periwinkle colored Sprunki that's jellyfish themed, with a big blue jellyfish on top of her head, with several light blue tendrils coming down that also look like hair. So this is probably similar to Veneria in the sense that her hair isn't actually hair. It just looks like it. A jellyfish wig, I guess. Her sound is a very nice and soothing bell sound, and when she makes music, her head moves up and down while her jellyfish frills light up to the sound. Honestly, this is one of my favorite sounds I've heard from a Sprunki. It's so pretty. When appearing in horror mode, Aurelia's face is visibly distressed, as the jellyfish tendrils are now around her neck, strangling her. Her music is now heavily distorted, and much slower. But we have no idea how this happened. I'm assuming the jellyfish on her head is either alive and decided to kill her, or it's very possible Black used his magic to control the jellyfish. Considering the jellyfish lays up to the music, we can assume it is alive and maybe even has its own unique personality. But let me know what you guys think. Either way, we can assume she most likely died from this, unfortunately. Some fun facts about Aurelia is she is described as very shy, and is selectively mute, choosing not to talk to others. She also prefers to be alone as she doesn't mesh well with other Sprunkies. Despite this though, she does have a boyfriend named Parker, a Sprunki made of paper. Interesting. She used to live in the ocean, but one day decided to live on land. Many other Sprunkies didn't like her though, and found her strange because she doesn't understand how society on land works, causing her to look weird to everyone else. I'm also assuming she met Parker on land, because if he went into the ocean, he would dissolve because he's made of paper. In terms of character design, she's definitely one of my favorite Sprunki OCs, and I love the colors. I also love jellyfish, and I wanted her human design to have that cool, flowy, majestic vibe. Her jellyfish hat is mostly the same, but I turned the jellyfish legs into dreads for her hair because that's what they reminded me of. I drew the jellyfish to look a little more like one of those formal bonnet hats, and she's wearing a long, flowy, light blue dress with bell-bottom ruffle sleeves that also remind me of jellyfish. Around her neck is a seashell and pearl necklace, since Aurelia loves collecting things from the beach. I really love how this one turned out. Thank you so much to the creator for making such a cute Sprunki. Here is human Aurelia. Next up is Mard. Real quick, I do want to say Mard is actually an official Sprunki character. He just never actually appeared in the game. But this different version of him was added to Sprunki Retake as a bonus character. Mard is a mustard yellow colored Sprunki that wears a hat with animal ears and a cat mouth with X'd out eyes. He wears a small ponytail on the back of his head, as well as a bandana around his neck that says, "I love mustard." Interestingly enough, Mard has his arms out and is holding a guitar, which really makes him stand out from other Sprunkis, as they don't usually show their arms. By the way, yes, it is confirmed that Sprunkis do have arms. They just don't use them much and are retractable. Mard plays the guitar, which honestly sounds very cool. When the game turns to horror mode, Mard is now being held up by strings like a puppet, with his guitar going through his head, causing his eyes to be bloodshot with a frazzled facial expression. Unfortunately, we don't really get any explanation for what happened or who did this to him. I'm assuming these strings may be a reference to his guitar strings, and judging by the music, it's possible that Mard's body is being forced to play the strings of the guitar by moving around like a puppet. Though he also has no animation during this part, which is very creepy. It's also possible the guitar is playing inside his head, but who knows? All I know is this is one of the coolest horror sounds I've heard from a Sprunki. Considering there's literally a guitar going through his brain, it's safe to say Mard is dead. Some cool facts about Mard is he loves mustard, like a lot. Maybe a little too much, and despises ketchup. Honestly, I'm on Mard's side with this one. I've always thought mustard was better than ketchup, and I will always stand by this. Comment below if you're team mustard or team ketchup. While we don't really know much about Mard aside from the fact that he loves ketchup, I mean mustard, I guess I can make my own little assumptions and headcanons. Mard is very stylish and cool, and kind of gives me the vibes of a guy who plays guitar on the side of the street, just as a hobby. He also looks very laid back and chill. For his human design, I kept his hat because it's really cool, and his hat also gives me alternative streetwear vibes, so that's the direction I went for with his clothes. He's wearing a cropped jean jacket and still that same bandana around his neck. Paired with that are some skinny jeans that are also ripped, and his guitar can be seen on his back. I decided to include a bit of facial hair because I thought it suited him. I think he turned out super cool. Here is human Mard. Hey broskies, thanks so much for watching. Comment your favorite OC from Sprunki Retake and your favorite drawing that I made in this video. Okay, bye!